Okay, it's all you.
All right. All right. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Yay. Rami said he's coming back, but I guess when he's all cleaned up, he'll pop back in. Um, so just to do a short little mental health wellness check-in with everybody, I just wanted a quick talk about some holistic health and wellness in the age of quarantine. All right. It's a little different than what we're used to. I'm going to share this, make sure everybody can see that. All right. So holistic health and wellness, age of quarantine, components of health. We all think of health, what is health? It's not just, working out, eating healthy. It's your physical health, your muscle, your fat, organ health. Obviously, we want to put muscle on, lose fat, keep our organs healthy, hearts, lungs, brains, kidneys, livers, especially now during quarantine. Mental and emotional health, how we think, feel, act, social connections and relationships. It's connections, whether through Zoom, phone calls, texts, relationships with your family, your significant others, your friends, spiritual health, higher power, meditation, prayer, ways of experiencing your spiritual health, financial and occupational health, your income, your savings, your job satisfaction, which I know right now is a little tough for most people, and your intellectual health, meaning your creativity, your knowledge, your skills, your ideas. So primary foods versus secondary foods. All right, now this is probably a new concept for most people. And basically what it means is that there's more to health than just what you eat and how much you exercise. Your primary foods are your family, your career, your hobbies, your interests, your spirituality, relationships, connections, physical activity, your finances, self-care routines, playfulness, creativity, learning, etc. They're your primary foods. That's what feeds you first and foremost. Your secondary foods, that's what you actually put on your plate. Okay, your meat, your fish, your veggies, your grains, that's what you're actually eating. All right, so your primary foods is everything else that is important to you, everything else that you're passionate about in your life, everything that's important for your daily living. And your secondary foods is everything that you're putting into your mouth, everything you're eating that's on your plate. And both are equally important for optimal health and wellness, obviously. So we need both, not just one or the other. If your primary foods are suffering, so do your secondary foods and vice versa. Then that brings us to fulfillment. Now, these are questions that for you guys just to think about. Hi, Linda. Just for you guys to think about, how fulfilled are you with your primary foods? Those things we just talked about, your career, your relationships, your spirituality, things like that, your finances. And how fulfilled are you with your secondary foods? How happy are you with how you are eating? With if you're overeating right now or over drinking, or really not even right now, just anytime. If primary foods aren't fulfilling, do you find yourself eating to fill that void? It's a question that, it's a really good question. If secondary foods aren't fulfilling, do you find yourself becoming lethargic, depressed, just a little more tired, a little lazy, or if you're eating crappy food, you feel it. So as the next thing says, your food affects our moods and our moods affect our food choices. All right, so if we're stress eating, boredom eating, sadness drinking, if we're stressed or bored, sometimes we go to the refrigerator a little too often. All right, so poor food choices, overeating, and excess alcohol can be signs of primary food deficits. All right, stress, boredom, sadness, maybe not liking a relationship like this. If you can eat all the broccoli you want, but if you're in a bad relationship or you hate your job, you're not going to be healthy until those areas are addressed. All right, those areas are very important. All right, so you don't realize how much those things actually affect your everyday eating. So my advice is just to be aware of what and why you're eating. Be mindful of what you're putting into your body, but also your mind and your spirit, not just your mouth. All right, so that's what you're watching, what you're doing, what you're interacting, how much activity you're doing. I would say, watch a funny movie. You put that in your spirit, that actually lightens the mood a lot. And how you feel about your primary foods will also show in your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and ultimately your food choices. So it all really comes together in terms of, whatever you're feeling. If you're stressed or angry, we're going to tend to make poorer food choices because of that. So question for you, what can you do differently to feel more fulfilled? But what can you do differently that's in your control? Right now, we don't have a lot of control. All right, that's just something for you to think about. Think about your primary foods, think about your relationships, your jobs, your, everything, your physical activity, everything. What can you do that you're going to feel more fulfilled? What can you change that that you have control over. And our next slide is, speaking of control, in the age of uncertainty, focus only on what you can control, so you aren't stressed about what you can't control. The serenity prayer: God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I mean, that really is a key for life in general. You know, I know they'd say that a lot in AA, but that's really for life in general, especially right now, because we have no idea. We are all very uncertain of what, you know, tomorrow brings. Really, from hour to hour, things change. Rules change. We're in phase 1. They're opening up certain things. Sadly, they're not opening up gyms probably till mid-May. We thought gyms were in phase 1, but that has now changed, and hopefully we'll be in phase 2. So we don't know, but everything is uncertain right now. And with that uncertainty comes a lot of fear. So just some things you can control. First thing is staying connected to your friends and family, whether you're an introvert, extrovert. We are all social creatures, and these connections keep us centered and grounded. This is why I love these Zoom talks, you know, whether they're just trainer talks, these meetings, or even just the live Zoom classes, you still feel connected to other human beings. You know, whether you're next to them or not, you still feel that connection, even through the computer. Number 2, get moving, exercise. Even if you just go for a walk, you know, but exercise to look and feel good, boost your immunity, increases your endorphins, which makes you happier. You sleep better, which all those lead to a healthy weight and better organ health. All right, so remember, lack of sleep leads to hormone disruption, which then leads to weight gain. It's that vicious cycle. If you're not sleeping, your body actually produces more of a hormone called ghrelin, and that's what's going to make you feel hungry. Even if you're not, it's just going to trigger your body to think that you're hungry. All right, so you're going to actually start producing that more. So it's just really, the more you exercise, the better you sleep. The better you sleep, the better your weight is, and it just keeps going around and around. I know right now sleep is very difficult for some of us because of the stress and the anxiety. So that's something that, you know, we need to address as well. Number 3, restricting negative media exposure, or even too much media exposure overall, because that's all we hear about. All right, so sometimes you just got to shut it all down, go for a walk, read a book, take your mind off the whole coronavirus altogether, because that's all we're hearing. You know, between Corona and the conspiracy theories and the politics and all that craziness. So even beyond that, you know, for the stopping too much media exposure, stop comparing yourself to others and stop negative self-talk. I know sometimes we're watching, you know, on Instagram or Facebook, everybody seems like, you know, they're being so productive every day, and they're baking all this stuff, and they're working out, and they're building sheds, and, you know, everybody seems to be on TikTok, but, you know, remember, always Facebook, I always call it fake book. It's just like the highlight reel of people's lives. So I know some people right now are just so engrossed in Facebook because they have nothing else to do. And you're watching other people's lives, and you have that, you know, that FOMO, that fear of missing out, or you're feeling like, you know, worse about yourself because it seems like everybody else is, you know, doing better than you are during this time. And that's not true. All right. We are all doing just fine. This is all new for everybody. All right. So number 4, that brings us to number 4, be kind to yourself. It's okay to rest. It's okay to worry. It's okay to not feel productive every day. Just don't stay there. You recognize it, you feel it, and then you move on for it. You don't get complacent. You don't stay in that spot. All right. You need to recognize it. That is completely normal for everybody, including myself, to feel that way. That fear, that uncertainty, the anxiety, the worry, thinking, oh, I should be getting up and being productive every single day. Sometimes it's okay to not be, just to take a breather, take a break, take a nap. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't sleep all day. You know, take that break, but then get back to it. We're all grieving the world as we know it, and we all deal with trauma differently. We are grieving. The world that we know it is not going to be the same afterwards. You know, for me, it's a struggle because I'm a hugger. So I'm going to have a hard time not hugging people for a long time. That's a struggle for me. But the world as you know it is going to be different. Everything's changing. You know, there's so much more, technology is going to be involved so much more. And that's going to be a struggle for me because that's something that I'm still learning. But dealing with the trauma, you know, this is very traumatic for everybody, you know, because you don't know that uncertainty and that fear, it's a trauma to your body, to your mind. So my advice is to not bottle up those emotions. You need to express them, or else they're going to materialize in other ways. You know, that anger, frustration, you know, taking it out on your spouse, whatever. But you need to make sure you're not overeating because of it, excessive alcohol consumption, that all takes you back to your secondary foods. All right. So those primary foods, that stress, that anxiety, takes you back to those secondary foods where you're making poor food choices. So it's all connected. Talk to someone you trust, seek out respected therapist, the age of telehealth. All right. That's the age that we're in now, telehealth. Very simple, virtual therapist right over the computer. Healthy activities. Number one, I'd always say get dressed every day, whether you feel like it or not. Get up and get dressed. If you stay in your pajamas all day, that is not good for your mental health. You're going to feel lazy. You're going to feel depressed. Not good. All right, so get up, get dressed, even if you don't feel like it. You don't have to dress up and get fancy, but put normal clothes on. Obviously, exercise. Huge component, huge fan of exercise. The live Zoom classes, we have them every day, 7 days a week. Or just go for a walk. Just keep moving. Remember, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. All right, the basic law of inertia. Pray or meditate. Do some deep breathing exercises. There's this breathing technique called the 4-7-8 technique, and you can actually practice it. There's an app called the Breathe app. The 4-7-8. It's you take 4 seconds to inhale, you hold it for 7 seconds, and then you exhale for 8 seconds. The only recommend you doing it a couple times sitting down, preferably. If you're doing it standing up, you can get a little lightheaded. But I know it's really just for, stress and anxiety. It's also good to help you fall asleep at night. It actually does really well for your heart, for your lungs. It builds them, makes them a little stronger. Right now, that's something we could all use as well. So I know that Breathe app, it's helpful with that. Discover a new hobby or interest. Finish the book you started. I know we probably have books that we started reading on the beach, and they close the beach down and we stop reading them. So that was the only time I got to read a book is on the beach. So finish the book you started. Maybe learn to play an instrument, a new hobby or instrument or interest. Take an online class. Finish continuing education credits, learn a new language, expand your intellectual skills. And your intellect is also part of your health. All right, those 6 components of health, your intellect is one of them. You have to always be challenging yourself. Cook a healthy meal. Experiment. Try something new. Clean and organize your living space. This one's huge. I know for me, research proves anxiety levels actually decrease when your space is clean and organized. All right? It is huge. I see Carla shaking her head. Absolutely. The whole feng shui, that's real stuff, people. It's true. You have such less anxiety. You will sleep better if your room is clean. Call or text a family member or a friend. Reconnect with the people in your home. Sometimes we get so busy that we actually we forget to actually sit down and have conversations with people we live with. We're all on the computer, watching TV, binging on Netflix. Maybe now's the time to sit and play a board game and talk to the people you live with. Have a real conversation, sit around the kitchen table and actually have dinner together. It's so rare, but now's a chance that we get to do that. Do something nice for somebody else. Check in on your elderly neighbor. Take a bubble bath, dye your hair, paint your nails, do something nice for yourself. All right, don't forget to still take care of yourself. And practice gratitude. We all have something to be thankful for every single day. From the minute you wake up, we got to be thankful that you woke up. We're 6 feet above ground instead of 6 feet underground. So that's the first and foremost thing that you should be thankful for every single day. And I know we all have a list of things we could be thankful for. All right, so there's 12 steps to a healthier, happier you. All right. So this is based on my holistic health coaching, nutrition certification. Number 1, you'll see the circle, drink more water. Number 2, practice cooking. Number 3, increase your whole grains. Increase your sweet vegetables like sweet potatoes. Number 5, increase your green leafy vegetables. 6, experiment with different kinds of proteins. 7, eat less meat, dairy, sugar, chemicalized artificial junk foods. Consume less coffee, alcohol, and tobacco. Number 8, develop easy and reliable habits to nurture your body. Those self-care routines, even if it's just, taking that bubble bath or painting your nails, something that's you're taking care of yourself, taking that downtime, just take 10 minutes to yourself every day, pray, meditate, do those breathing exercises. Number 9, have healthy relationships that support you. That's very important. I know that's, could be difficult for some people, but it's super important to do. Number 10, find physical activity you enjoy and do it regularly. Obviously, F45 is the greatest workout you'll ever get. I know I'm a little partial, but doing this for 20 years in the fitness industry, I know for a fact it is the greatest you will ever get. And thankfully, we are still able to provide those workouts for you through the Zoom classes, through YouTube, and doing it regularly. Consistency is the key. Doing it once a week, okay, but you need to do a little bit more of that if you actually want to see results. Not results just physically, but results mentally too. Number 11, find work you love or a way to love the work you have. All right, I know that's also tough right now in the age of quarantine. So maybe this is a time to reassess your skills, whether it's your soft skills or hard skills, what kind of skills do you have? If it's something you want to maybe try something out new or maybe do some research into a different field, something you've always been wanting to take a class in, maybe now's the time to look at that. or maybe it's time to sit back and think, be grateful for the job you do have. And when you do go back to work, maybe look at it from a different perspective. Maybe find, a way to fall back in love with it. Number 12, develop a spiritual, whether that's praying, meditating, and whatever higher power you have, that's a personal decision that you have. All right, because spirituality is super important though in your health. And the last one is tap into F45 Largo so we can pour into you. All right, tap into us because we are here for you. All right, we are here to pour into you, with whatever you need. Whether it's advice on food, exercise, mental health, social health, whatever you guys need, that's what we're here for. All right. At any point in time, obviously, you guys have numbers or text messages. We have these live connections every single day. Use it. It's important to take advantage of these opportunities that you have because, we got to be grateful that, we have this. Not everybody has the opportunity to be on these live Zoom classes with people and stay connected. Some people are isolated. So we want you guys to definitely tap into us so we can continue to pour into you. And that concludes my little slideshow. And I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I think I did it. Yay. Awesome. So now I want to hear from you guys. Thank you. I want to hear some ideas you guys have about primary foods, secondary foods, ways you find to stay motivated, ways you find to de-stress, anything that you have found during this time that you think is important to share.
Yeah. I know
Anybody?
you guys, I know you saw me shaking my head, yes, the clean factor. I'm such a clean freak, and then like with work, my apartment got cluttered. I decluttered it, and I actually enjoy being in my apartment because it's clean.
Right?
So I second that. And then I liked everything that you said about the mental health, how we have primary and secondary foods. You never think you have more food than just nutrition.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Because every day, no matter whatever you're doing, you're actually feeding your body, your mind, your soul. Oh, wait, Linda, you're on mute. I can't hear you. I see your lips moving, but I can't.
Sorry, there we go.
Hi.
And I'm late, I apologize. My son's like, Mom, it's 7:05. I'm like, oh my God. The routine that you guys starting the Zoom, workouts, 9 o'clock, it's gotta be routine. Like you said, get up, have a focus and then, shower and change and like start your day, even though you might not be going out of the house. It's like, just these classes have done it for me, that's for sure. And then just eating healthy and, having the challenge and looking forward to these seminars that you're having. It's awesome. Yeah, totally getting me through this. So thank you.
Have something to look forward to because right now we don't really have much else to look forward to. So having these consistent meetings and get-togethers is, I think, is good for our mental health.
For sure.
Check-in.
Totally. Yeah. No, that was very informative. Thanks. Great.
Sure.
Happy birthday, Carrie.
Oh, thank you. I like hearing that it was okay to be lazy occasionally because I had a really lazy day and not feeling it today or even yesterday. And it's so true. You can't compare yourself to folks who are like, cooking up a storm and delivering food to their neighbors and this and that. And you're like, I'm just sitting here.
No, you're like, oh my God, I feel so bad about myself, but no, it's okay.
Like,
Yeah. Do what you can.
That's right. That's it. Every day, one day at a time. That's it. That's all we got right now.
You can only control what you can control.
That's it.
So you were saying that you're in a different category now. So was getting the gyms open first and now it's slipped off? Like what's your update out there?
Well, President Trump said that gyms would be phase 1
Okay.
in his recommendation, and then Governor had it and then the Governor DeSantis just had a conference, I think at 5 o'clock or so, and he said that gyms and hair salons would be in phase 2.
Okay.
So earliest in 2 weeks after phase 1 starts, which is Monday, they'll reassess the numbers and see if they'll open it up. So restaurants are at 25% capacity inside and 50% capacity outside.
Okay.
Starting on Monday, beaches open. I think stores open with capacity restrictions and social distancing. Yeah.
Salons are still
Yeah,
Right.
but salons, and hairdressers, and gyms,
Okay, so
movie theaters. all closed.
my question for you, if you guys open like say you're on like classes for me, because I'm all the way here in Toronto. Like, you know what I mean? Are you gonna end them once you open? You have to, I guess.
Not right away. Not right away, because there's going to be some people that are still not comfortable coming to the gym. And we're going
Okay,
to have a minimal, obviously, capacity levels are going to be smaller. We can't open up to, full
Okay.
capacity right now either.
so you'll still offer them.
So we're still going to
Yay!
Zoom for a little bit at least.
Okay,
Not how
good.
long, but yeah.
Okay, that's good. I gotta hang
Yeah,
up if I can.
Yeah, we'll overlap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be, we'll keep the F45 live Zoom classes for a while. And I suppose if we can,
Okay.
if it starts to make financial business sense to keep them, maybe that'll be an option. I'm kind of thinking about that too.
Mhm.
Right now it doesn't, but if we could take the price up a little bit and if more people are interested, then maybe it makes sense. We could always just prop a phone up in the back of the class for you, Linda.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll be there. Okay. I don't know if we're behind, but I've heard nothing. Like at least you're getting your reports. We're watching TV all the time, and we're not anywhere right now. Toronto's
Really?
still shut down. Yeah, big time. I mean, even the golf courses aren't even like. There's no talk of the golf courses, and that's outside, let alone talking about gyms opening. So, yeah, maybe I don't know. Is it the weather? I have no idea.
I know
I don't know what's
California just
going on, but behind the times. So,
shut down.
yeah.
So, just
Hmm.
depends. Politics, I guess.
The politics, yeah. I thought Florida would be a little bit more aggressive with the opening,
We
but I guess
freeze.
Mm.
we're still recording. I guess I can stop.